Alright, welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and we've got another one. Heresy Thursday, let the Omnissiah take the wheel with the Land Raider Proteus. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy these daily videos, reactions, reviews, news, painting, modeling, conversion, magnetization, tutorials, everything from Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, sigmar, warcry, and of course, Horus Heresy as well. Let's take a look. Before the Spartan assault tank, before the termite assault drill, and before the mighty mastodon, there was one true king of armored troop conveyance, the Land Raider. Many patterns of these lumbering tanks existed as legion armies, but none have the pedigree of the venerable Land Raider Proteus, which now returns to the Age of Darkness with a new plastic kit. So at this point in time, it's blatantly obvious that all of the popular kits from forgeworld are coming over to Games Workshop. We discussed this in the past, how I thought this was basically going to be the direction they go, and it's very, very clear. Now, my issue with this is the release schedule of this stuff is like crazy intense. Now, I was considering picking up Age of Darkness and some of these other kits, and I'm going to tell you right now, with the release schedule and how fast stuff's been coming out, I have bought none of them. And I'm typically the type of person that will buy the majority of new releases, if not all of them. And a lot of times they end up just piled up somewhere. But Games Workshop's schedule has been so insane lately that I just have completely passed on Horus Heresy. And even though the stuff has been reasonably priced in comparison, especially compared to forgeworld, I haven't bought any of them. And the faster this release schedule comes out, the less likely I am to purchase any. Now, I think it's great that they're offering these in plastic. I would much rather purchase one of the forgeworld kits in plastic. But let's be real here. I mean, they're just, not only are they, I understand they're probably picking some of their busier kits or like more popular kits. And I understand also that they're probably going for like similar or easy to make kits. But there's not enough diversity in the range of kits that they're bringing over to plastic. I mean, they should have done like Fire Raptor or Storm Eagle or obviously the Thunderhawk gunship. Now, we don't know. Maybe these things are in the works over there. But like another Land Raider, not really going to like break the cycle and get me to purchase. And the truth is, it's not like they're just pumping out all of this Horus Heresy kits. You know, we have a whole new edition of warcry with a bunch of new expansions. And then on top of that, we have the compendium. We have another warcry warband coming out. We have a, ally like monster for hire. That's a lot of stuff for Horus Heresy. That's a lot of stuff for warcry. And then on top of that, Kill Team. So we just had a new edition of Kill Team basically like a year ago. 3 expansions and a new starter on top of the Octarius box, all in like the last year. And now we're about to get Into the Dark, a new starter, and then 3 expansions on top of that over the next year. I mean, this release schedule, and then that doesn't even take into account their main game, 40k. And we've got, squats in the pipe and all these new codexes coming out and, new this, that, and the other. And the problem is, and we saw it in Games Workshop's numbers, if you didn't check out the video, I did a breakdown of it, showing that essentially Games Workshop's core business, selling models, selling books, actually has declining sales. So they claim that they sold more models than ever, but a lot of those were like packed into big boxes and stuff like that and sold at a discount essentially. That's not how you build a business. That's not how you grow a business. I'm not telling Games Workshop how to run their business. I do not have a $1 billion business, but I have multiple businesses that do quite well and grow, very fast. Now, again, it's nothing close to what Games Workshop's doing, but the principles are the same. The scale is what's different. And the truth is, there's only so much product you can sell to the same people. And GW is not growing the game. And you could say, well, yeah, they definitely are. There's new players starting to play all the time and bringing them into new games and expand. There definitely are new players coming in, but there's also a lot of players leaving. So it's all about the net. I mean, if we have 100 players, let's say worldwide, obviously that's a made up number, and we get 10 new players, but we lose 11 old players, now we only have 99 total players. So if your adjustable market, or like addressable market rather, is, 100 players, and then it goes down to 99, in order just to keep up, you have to basically sell more products to the same 99 people, and you have to make up for that one person who left. That's not growing a business. That's shrinking a business. And then you could say, well, they're growing their sales. Well, we just discussed that, essentially how they made up for the lack of sales in their core business by essentially licensing their IP. So they're basically like pimping out the IP to anybody that'll pay for it to fill the gap. And then on top of that, in the detailed breakdown I did, further went into detail on it and showed that actually, if you take out the inflation that Games Workshop did, the inflated prices, they raised their prices across the board roughly 12%. And that roughly 12% price increase made up for what amounted to essentially a 15% increase in their sales. So essentially, the only thing that's making their numbers look good on paper right now is them raising their prices drastically. 12% is a pretty big deal in 1 year. And on top of that, with the new changes they made to the shades and some of the other stuff, we actually saw price increases closer to 33%. So let's just say the average 12%, and then take into account the IP, and then take into account that they actually closed more stores worldwide than they opened. This is not a sustainable model. They're closing stores, they're selling more product in big boxes at a discount, and the only reason that it's looking good on paper that they're selling more product is because they're heavily discounting the big boxes, and then they're raising the prices on everything else on top of that. So if you want something outside the big box, you got to pay even more for it. And then arguably, the raising of the prices for all the individual items is what makes the big boxes look like a good deal to begin with. I mean, this is just not a sustainable model. I'm assuming that a lot of this is backlog from like the Rona and everything, and now they're just getting caught up with like manufacturing and everything. But this release schedule is absolutely insane. And you have a situation where if the release schedule was a little slower, I probably would have picked up some of these things, maybe most of these things, possibly all of these things. But because they just jam them down your throat, you skip one release, and then there's another one the next week, and then you think, well, I'm just going to hang tight on this one too. And then next thing you know, you break that habit of just picking stuff up to pick it up because it's coming out. So it is what it is. I'm just figured it was worth mentioning, talking about. Is another Land Raider going to break the cycle for me? No, I'm good. And to tell you the truth, the more Horus Heresy stuff they put out, and the faster they put it out, the less likely I am to pull the trigger on any of it. So, dating back to the dark age of technology, these vehicles are no less capable of surviving the harsh realities of civil war than their more sprightly cousins. Exhibiting uncommonly strong influence from their machine spirits, these are stories of these tanks continuing to blast away as their crew lie dying, or rumbling back to base with the damage that would wreck lesser machines. Sorry, it's an early morning for me. In more practical terms, the power of the machine spirit can take over targeting duties. So each weapon can fire at completely different targets. The Land Raider Proteus is an excellent tank killer in its own right, with a pair of lascannon sponsons and a choice of hull and pintle armored mounted guns. I'm not familiar with the Horus Heresy rules, but I know back in the day when you shot, you could only shoot at like one target with your vehicle or whatever, or with your squad, etc. And then they switched that for the 40k newer editions. So it sounds like this, basically, this edition of Horus Heresy, still everything has to shoot at the same target, and it's only the power of the machine spirit that lets them split their shots. So again, that's more like the older editions of 40k. But what if you don't want to slam a squad of Terminators face first into the thick of the fighting? Assemble your kit as the Land Raider Proteus Explorator instead, and you'll trade the hefty assault ramp for dozer blade to clear away battlefield obstacles, together with the sophisticated Explorator augury web to gather detailed terrain data. I mean, it's a cool kit. Looks cool. It's definitely like the OG Land Raider, like the old style one. Whatever needs carrying around your latest Apocalypse Warzone, the Land Raider Proteus provides. It's so good at its job, the legendary techno-archaeologist Arkin Land put his own name on it. Techno-archaeologist. So that is the model that came in the Blackstone Fortress expansion. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, I wonder when they're going to start selling that model individually. Fans of a certain vintage will spot that design of this Land Raider owes much to the original plastic version released in the 1980s during the very first edition of Warhammer 40,000. Classics never die. Oh yes, I do remember these. Had a few of them myself back in the day. If you're not aware, I have been playing Games Workshop games for the better part of 30 years. Even though I have the voice of a 16-year-old. So yeah, that's it. New release, another Land Raider. So we know the Land Raider that recently came out Well, the Spartan Assault tank that came out was 112. The current Land Raider is 95. So I don't know which route they're going to go, if this is going to be 95 or 112, but I would expect one of those price points for this bad boy. So let me know what you think down below. Are you excited for this? I'm sure there's lots of people that really want this and are pumped for it and everything. And again, I'm not trying to be like a downer when it comes to the Horus Heresy stuff or the release schedule or whatever. I'm always for more minis and just, you know, buy them if you want, don't buy them if you don't. But from a business perspective, you know, putting out a ton of kits and cannibalizing your own sales and making people decide like, okay, am I going to play the new edition of Horus Heresy, or am I going to play the new edition of Kill Team or Warcry, or, you know, my new codex is finally coming out in 40k after years of waiting. Like, I mean, it's just a lot, honestly. And, you know, there's no denying that the economy is slowing. We're seeing interest rates jumping up here. Inflation rates are at like 30 and 40 year highs. We just got the inflation print for UK, and it's over 10%, double-digit inflation. Not to mention they're having serious energy issues. And I saw some projections for basically what an energy bill is going to cost, and they took into account like the median household, and essentially said the energy bill is going to go up by so much, and it's already gone up a ton. It's going to go up by so much this winter that the average energy bill for 1 month is going to cost the household 2 months' salary. I mean, that is insane. So to think that people are going to have a bunch of extra money to be spending on Warhammer and stuff like that, I really don't see it. And they better be careful because, you know, what we all have record-sized piles of shames after everything that went down over the last couple of years, and all these new releases and everything. And at some point in time, you're going to break the consumer, you know, just like you broke me, where I decide, okay, I'm not going to pick up any of these new kits coming out for Horus Heresy or whatever it is. And instead, I'm going to say, you know what, I'm actually going to get rid of some of this stuff because money's getting tight, and, you know, I need a little extra coin in my pocket. So next thing you know, people that were net buyers and that were just auto picking up everything new that came out and just piling up in their closet, they're going to turn to net sellers. And then those people are going to be selling off their piles of shame. So now not only are they not going to be buying the new Games Workshop stuff, they're going to be selling their old stuff, you know, at a discount. So now Games Workshop's going to be competing with its, you know, with its customers for sales. So they're not going to have their customers buying stuff. And then on top of that, other customers that were going to buy stuff are not going to buy stuff because they're buying it from, you know, the other customers. So, you know, we're already seeing massive discounts on a lot of kits lately. Some as high as 50% off. And I'm not talking about the boxes that Games Workshop offers at 50% off. I'm talking about online finding new kits for like 50% off. I just bought Ash Waste the other day for $200. $200. The retail on that is $300, and it just came out. And it's already selling for 33% off. GW is in for a disaster. This is absolutely ridiculous, and they are just straight up cannibalizing their own sales. So, not sustainable. We'll see what happens, though. You know, I don't want to be negative. I think it's great whenever we get new kits and everything. But I don't know who's in charge down there. Well, I mean, I do know, but this is just not going to work. Good luck, though. So you let me know what you think. Is this release schedule out of control? What do you guys think of the new seasons? Are you basically signing up and just picking up every item from that season or every release? And, you know, is this getting a little much for you? Have you already left the game and, you know, started playing something else or picked up that 3D printer or, you know, et cetera, et cetera? Always curious to hear back from you guys. Appreciate all of the comments, all the likes, the subscribes. The channel growth is absolutely amazing. Thank you all for tuning in regularly and showing your support, showing your love. Love interacting with you guys in the comments. And I do appreciate when you guys correct me down in the comments too. I mean, as long as it's in like a respectable way, obviously. Because obviously I do make mistakes, not only reading, but with, you know, with references to weapons or points or rules, whatever. So I do appreciate when you guys jump in and hit me with it, because I'm not going to lie. It is tough to keep track of all the rules, all the prices, all the stuff for like 40k, Sigmar, Horus Heresy, a game I've never even played, Warcry, Kill Team, Necromunda. That's mostly what I cover, but I mean, it is a lot. And the way the rules change and the bloat and everything, it gets to be a lot. So I do appreciate everybody that chimes in, you know, with little bit of knowledge, a little bit of info, because I do rely on you guys for corrections here and there as well. So that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe for daily videos. And then obviously we show off our commissions once a week, as well as our reactions, reviews, and news. So we got a commission we just finished up headed out, and you guys will see that video tomorrow, so keep your eyes out for it. Also, quite a few people have reached out to me and told me that they're not getting notifications, so give a try. Go to the thing, subscribe, unsubscribe, click the notification bell, unclick it, and then click it again, whatever. Click it till it's lit up again, and then hopefully you'll start getting them again. But I have no control over that. Yeah, that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.